right, hey everybody, welcome to Keep It Not Tied podcast. This is episode number 12. I'm Lamont.
I'm Shay.
And we got special guests in the building.
Yes.
The Millers are in the building.
The Millers are in the building.
We got Nick and Bree. This is the couple that we went to New Orleans with last week that we told you guys about, man. So we just happy y'all guys came and joined us.
Look at us too.
Y'all our first couple.
Right.
We're gonna get in some good topics today. So just tell the people a little bit about yourselves, like when the first time y'all met each other, how long y'all been married a little bit.
Okay. You want to go again?
You tell the story.
Okay.
So
we met at CIAA, was it 6 or 7 years ago? I'm not sure on that year. Sorry.
2013.
So 7 years then.
7 years?
I thought it was 6. Look at God, you know?
He do the year too. That's
We've been
good.
married for 5 years, and just going since then. I mean, yeah.
Pretty
Met at a day party, so.
A day party.
Day party, CIAA, yeah. He had the hots for me.
Oh, he snatched up Nick. Do you remember what she was wearing when you first saw her?
I do. I actually do.
What was she wearing?
She had on some black leggings.
Okay.
And they had like some designs.
Mm-hmm.
And she had on some knee-high boots, heels.
Okay.
And then I think you had like a black top on. And you had like some designs.
The sequence.
You had a weave.
I told you. I had a long black weave.
I just remember I went to the bar, I had a couple drinks, and then I was walking away from the bar, and I just seen this woman just walking towards me. I was like, man, jackpot.
Hey.
Yeah.
But what came out was
I don't remember that. I'm gonna let you
he
tell
said
that.
he don't remember this part, but what came out was he said, I've been looking for you all weekend. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
I was scared. I was like, whoa, I hope ain't nobody
That's what it said.
It worked, right?
It worked.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good. So y'all have kids? Tell them about your kids. How many kids you got?
All right. So we're gonna start from the top or the bottom.
Start from the top to the bottom.
We'll totally have 6. We're blended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're blended. So I have one outside. Then we have one together, our youngest, and then Nick has 4 older.
Yeah.
So total we have 6.
6 total.
6 total.
Okay.
We're blended.
Blended.
I love it.
You said, baby, you want to talk about blended families one time, right?
I did. Yeah, that would be a good topic for them because we don't know about having blended families because it's just being us.
Oh, yes, that's a whole episode.
Yeah,
So,
hey, let's go ahead and jump into it. Hey.
So, how is it? Like, because with y'all meeting and everything, how was the transition into like, this is who, like, whenever you introduce your kids to Bree, and Bree, when you introduce we introduced Layla to Nick, how was it? Like, when did y'all know the mama was like, oh, hey, I need them to meet, to meet this person?
Well,
Layla first met Nick, so our first year of dating, of course, so he lived in Virginia, and I was still in Atlanta. So our first year was it was distance. So we didn't have a whole, where we lived around a corner where it was like, oh, you come over to my house or whatever. So anytime that we would see each other, really that first full year, we were traveling just to see each other.
Okay.
So our kids were never really involved
For the whole first year?
Well, not the whole first year. It might have been maybe a good 6 or 7 months. I think finally he came to Atlanta one time, and then that's when I met his youngest 2 here because they live here.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it wasn't like I think it's time for you to get out. It was just kind of like a natural thing. We just kind of went with the flow.
Yeah, everything was
with stuff. Nothing was, we think it's time, I think he first met Layla probably on FaceTime or Skype.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was scared of him.
She was scared.
She was scared of him because of his eyes. The only person she knew that had those eyes were my mom. So she'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to see him." I was like, "Oh, this is not gonna be good."
Yeah, actually, the first time that like when we were all together, I think when you came to South Boston for my family reunion.
Mm-hmm. And that wasn't until like June and July.
Came,
Mm-hmm.
So it was.
That's when his family met Layla, and so everything was really like
it just flows.
Yeah.
That part of it just kind of flows.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, Evan and neighbor, they live here, so we were able to.
We do like play dates.
Yeah, we did like play dates and stuff like that.
Or if we like went out to eat, we'll like meet her to get the kids, and we'll just take the kids all out to go. Or we like went to Ava's gymnastics thing,
stuff
just
like
little like just small stuff to just kind of gradual. Yeah, but
that was kind of easy. 'Cause I used to come down and visit them anyway, so it was just kind of okay. Like when I first met her, we met in Charlotte, so it's not, I didn't walk up to her and be like, "Hey, where you from?"
Okay, yeah. Right.
Everybody
from two different places.
So she happened to be in Atlanta, and then, my two other kids live here in Atlanta.
Okay.
So it was just kind of,
I was there,
and then we got serious, so then it just kind of went from there.
So I guess would be one of the challenges of having a blended family?
Ooh. What's the biggest or the top 3 biggest challenges? Because I know it's probably
I think the biggest challenge for any blended family is well, just say for instance, right? So when you meet your wife or whatever, your girlfriend or whatever, you still coming from 2 separate backgrounds.
Right.
She was raised totally different than when I was raised. I'm raised totally different. So, you have to make that work.
Right.
One of the challenges with a blended family is that when you like I have my wife, but then I hate, for lack of a better term, then you have your baby mothers, and they
the
got
mother of your
different
children,
perspectives and everything.
Okay.
And so then it's just like trying to make that come together. It can be just very challenging.
That is for everybody to still make sure that everything is done for the kids.
For the kids.
Right.
And removing the adults' emotions
away
from the situation. If that, then everything flows. But when you are dealing with some adults, just can't remove their personal, those emotional ties. It doesn't matter if they've moved on or whatnot. Sometimes some people just still can't handle, that
to see them with someone else. Yeah.
So then that's how the kids and then it just becomes a bomb, right? Because now the kids they involved and it's a mess. So I would say the biggest thing is for the adults to realize that he will always say it's about the kids.
Yeah, it's about the kids.
His main thing. It's about the kids. Focus on the kids. If you all focus on the kids, then
should be no problems.
Right.
And what's so crazy, kind of like our situation. So I got a 20-year-old and I got a 16-year-old. So it's from that perspective, it's totally different. And it's like especially like my 20-year-old, it's like for instance, like when we had when he graduated from high school, we went home for his graduation and everything, and it's like his mom,
we were
just
all
kind of, cool. So he wanted to have a cookout. So it's all about him.
Like,
It's not about him, her, or me, the mom, the dad, or whatever. It was about him,
right.
And anytime it's any event or anything like that, it just comes together and it flows like that. So
the maturity level,
right?
Being able to say, okay, I got to put my big girl or my big boy draws on,
right? And then it comes to
deal with it.
One of the other issues you deal with, it's one of the human nature problems is like some people just like be controlling of situations.
Okay.
And so when people just always grasping for control. I got to be in control of this. Or I got to, these are my children, And so that makes things a lot more difficult too.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do? I mean, have y'all had a sit down in the past, maybe with your child's mothers or your child's fathers, to kind of get on the same page? Because I'm pretty sure the people listening are kind of going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like a parenting thing too, because you
so
also
how do you
are
overcome
your
that?
parents at the end of the day.
So I'll say that. So it's funny because Layla's I hate to use this word, her biological, right? It's crazy because he has no involvement whatsoever. And it's crazy because we went to high school together. When he left, we went to college. I followed him, went to college. We actually, we were literally high school sweethearts. And then after I heard her, it was just like, boop, kind of disappeared. So it's crazy because when I met him, it's like, okay, here I met this man who, of course, isn't perfect, right? But he wants to be involved with his kids, right? And then here I am. I'm like, well, I got somebody who doesn't want to be. So I will say a lot of our issues, well, not even so much, but my issues with the kid's mom, when they be like, oh, you can't, or whatever. And I'm like, you just don't understand how grateful you should be to have a man
that wants to spend time with his kids.
To spend time, screw the money. It was times where I would tell him, I will give you $5 to take her to Chuck E. Cheese. What do you need? Even when Nick moved here, we would meet at the playground sometimes. His mom would have to bring. It was just a whole.
Right.
It was like his family was trying to force him to be involved with Layla, which is
weird.
Something I'll never understand. I'll never try to understand. But it's like you don't want. But then I'm at the same. Then I have my husband who wants, and their mom is like, now it's like
man,
you don't understand.
You don't get it.
Even if you have moved on and you have someone else, you are never hurting the kid to have. I call myself a bonus mom. I'm just that mom, and those are my bonus kids.
I like that terminology.
Yeah. You're my. I don't feel like step is
step or half kid. Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like that word. Those are my bonus kids. This is my added bonus. And a bonus is always great, right? So
right.
I feel like you use the word bonus. That will always be in a positive light, and I feel like kids like to hear, positive terms too. But it's just. We've never been able to really kind of sit down with the kids' moms, the younger two, because she's just still
okay.
Some people you can't have a conversation with.
Yeah, some people just can't. You just gotta kind of just go with how it goes. Yeah.
It fought the good fight this way, that way, and it's just still like, okay, look, I can't fight our sanity.
It makes things very difficult. So, and as a well, first, I'd always be the first to say in briefs where, have everything always been perfect? Has everything always been done
you always got
right?
Yep.
For everything? No, it has not. But at the same
man.
time, it's just like anything in life. If you're trying to do the best thing, or you understand people, so you don't hold something against somebody because if anybody's just striving to do the right thing, you don't hinder people.
Yeah, let them do the
because no one is perfect.
Right.
But with that being said, is the unfortunate part of it is that when you're in a situation like that, you're only hurting the kids, but then you have to understand too that, say for my case, right, I got other kids too, right? So it's like kids in my house. I got other kids in my house. No one should force nobody to live two different lives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, you can come and spend time with the kids, but they just need to be with you.
With just you and not,
you know, they don't. It don't need to be all whole big. And that's one of the most difficult and challenging things of a situation.
Because that's just crazy.
Yeah, so it comes down to control. Because then, like when you're a man, you really forced to make some tough decisions.
Yeah.
So like if you're in a situation like that, what you have to do, you have to look. I mean, it's really tough and it really bothers you in the moment. But you have to just look at a lot of different things. You have to say, okay, what are the age of the kids?
Right.
Okay, so when kids start getting, when they become the age of 13, 14, 15, a lot of things.
11, 12,
right.
They know.
So a lot of things.
Yeah, they understand.
Right. So a lot of things that, it's just, sometimes that person just have to either
them to the side
get,
just make sure
well, the kids eventually, by nature, just start pushing the roadblocks out of the way.
Right.
And then you can have more, then like the father, whoever the person in that role can have more of a,
like an open and
dialogue conversation with the kids. And then, then eventually it's going to heal itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether that person is ready to resolve
not,
whatever, right? It's going to work itself out, and that's one of the. But that's a challenging position to be in because it's like you choosing. You see what I'm saying? Like
you're trying to choose in between the
your family or your kids, and it's just it cuts. It really hurts, and that's one of the most difficult things of being a blended family, and just like for any other man out there or women that may be in like the same situation, it's tough. But you gotta find a way to keep pushing through. Sometimes it gets very discouraging. Sometimes it just it can get really tough. But you gotta know what your role is, and you gotta know what your plan is, and you gotta just stick with it. And just know that it'll work itself out.
Right.
I know that's tough. I always said, and I told Ree this before, I never knew, like when I first, so how we met them is through flag football. So their daughter is like an athlete. She is a beast. I love her. So Layla, she will get out there with the boys and she will run with the best of them. So she is awesome. And I remember probably 3 or 4 years ago, I remember seeing them out there. I remember she had Roman on her, and it was like a coach or something, and she was like the only girl in flag at this time. So everybody knew her as being the only girl that played flag. So fast forward, she was on, I want to say Titus's team about 2 years ago. I think it was.
Because she started off with the Dolphins, and then I think after that she
was on Abel's team.
She was on Abel's team.
Yeah, it was
Abel, okay.
Her and Abel are closer.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah,
wow. So I didn't know that he wasn't her biological dad. Just because Nick is amazing. I was telling him he would be out there she would bring the little one and bring Layla to practice. He would be working all day. And I don't know as far as just how your work-life balance is, he will be coming to practice. Even if he catches the last 15, 20 minutes, Nick was there. And he was so dedicated. So the whole time, I just thought I just thought he was her dad. I had no clue until probably 2 years ago. I thought Nick was her dad. You were just talking about something. I was like, what?
I was confused. I was like, the more that they're around each other too, the more people will even be like, oh, she looks just like him.
And they act it's it just flows so well.
And it's crazy because they clash so much when we're out. Clash so much. But I did not say anything to either one of them. If I say something if I gotta ask, Layla, she'll kind of look at me if I'm getting on to her, nigga be like, well, Bree, and I'm like, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, so it's not it was never to me just seeing from an outsider, there was never a division. It was always just kind of a family unit. So just off of seeing, I'm like, God, that's just amazing. So kudos to you for just stepping in there because that's awesome. If you didn't know, you would have no clue. If I didn't have that conversation with you that day, I would have never known.
So it's one of the craziest things. Being in that situation, like me and Layla, we could be out as a family, or it could be us and all the other kids, you know, all us, you know, Ava and Evan, so we can all be together. And so people just come up, oh, you used to have such a beautiful family. And they'll look at Bree like, okay, you pushed all the way. You know, it's like they don't want to say it.
They don't want to say like, hey girl, you look good, girl.
You know, or people will be like, oh, that's your daughter, she is so beautiful. So, you know, so at first it kind of just come across your mind like, oh, do I correct them? But then it just get to the point, you
just let it go.
Yeah, that's my
and so because so I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean,
she is at the
end
of the
day.
You know, but sometimes like you know, you kind of like, what? No, well, so
yeah,
you don't have to explain it.
That's like we were like married and whatever, you know, and he really understood the situation with the other person, and because I think he really wanted to see like, okay, because you know, you always hear like the bitter baby mama. We don't say that word, okay? We'll call it what it is. So. You know, I think he wanted to make sure that what I was saying lined up with what was
really going on,
like,
right?
Is she just saying he's not involved, or is she keeping him from, you know,
seeing her, right?
Situation I'm kind of in, and you know, so once he realized what was up and realized, okay, she really doesn't have a father figure. That's when it was like, okay, no, yeah, that's my baby, you know, and now it's to the point like she, you know, her last name she cannot stand it, so now we're, you know,
her last name is Miller though, right?
Not
it's not.
She
you
would think.
Because she, I mean, at school she writes. I mean, her teachers have even told her lately, you have, and she doesn't care. She will write Miller, you know, but we wanted to give her time until she got older to really understand, you know, before we make that change, you know.
She understands.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, she a whole.
So look, it was. I called her Layla Henderson one day, and
she had a fit.
Did she have a breakdown?
Bree come jacking me by the arm like, come here.
Like
you know, so
not.
She didn't like that.
Oh, I picked her up from school. I think it was last week or something, and she was like, I mean, she gets in the truck, she's just crying, and I'm like, what is going on, you know? And she was like, such and such, because you know they call their name over the
intercom,
you know, but this one little kid in the class who just wants the, you know, and he's like, oh, I thought your last name was Miller, you know, and so she's like, I told him, Tyler told me, I don't know why he's asking me, and I was like, I felt so bad, you know, because I'm like, okay, and I called the guy, I was like, look, we just need to go ahead and get her name changed, I said, because it's getting bad, because now she's like,
and she's like, you know, I guess once y'all do that, it's gonna be like, oh, like a sigh of relief for Layla, like
she won't have to worry about it anymore.
I feel bad too, because it's like she probably feels like an outcast. Because everybody's last name is Miller. Like all the kids, and now Roman too, you know. So
she's the only one.
She's the only one.
Okay, so she's gonna want her.
And then when I changed my name too, she was like, okay, yeah, no.
No, you done changed your name, like, right?
You're like, this where my name,
right? You know, and it brings on a whole other aspect too. You know, like in situations like that, and it's really tough. So you know, blended families. You know, it's nice, but it's tough.
It's work.
It's got its
how it is.
Because see, okay, so just for instance, like that whole thing with the last name, right? So she still have, you know, it's just not her biological father on that side, but she has family that's on that side.
I was wondering, like, does she talk to those?
Yeah,
people?
she does.
Right.
Like
just the great grandmother.
Just the great
grandmother actually just passed away maybe a few weeks.
And the great grandmother, she is awesome. I mean,
she is.
You know,
she's the only one we have contact with on that side.
But the issue, but one of the challenges that you face is that, you know, like if we have that conversation with the great grandmother, it just
she gets really emotional.
Because that's still her.
You know, mother and grandmother, right? So she want him to do.
Well, if you hyphenate it, you think would she be okay if you kind of hyphenate it? Like,
no, she's not gonna fool. She told me. I asked her. I said, Layla, what is in a name? You know, because I'm like, I need to make sure you know. You know, and she was like, I don't even know these. She was like, I don't even know him. She was like, so I don't feel like I should have someone's name that I don't even know. She was like, I'm a Miller. She was like, this is who I am. And I was like, well, that's it.
But here's the thing, though. It's the sad part, though. You know, I have reached out to her biological father. I've spoke with him, and I've told him. I said, look, man, you know. I've told him, I said, look, man, you gotta understand. I said, you know,
he's talked to him plenty of times.
And I've told him, I said, you don't understand, like, how me and you are so much in the same situation. You know what I'm saying? You know, as far as, you know, the whole situation. You know, I told him, you don't understand, like, how close we are from being in the same situation. I told him, I said, the only difference between you and me is that I try and you're not. You know, I said, man, you know, you have all the control in the world to fix this situation. Right? If you don't want, all you have to do is just do what you gotta do. Yeah. You know, just do what you're supposed to do, and it will solve it just like that. Wow. But that non-presence is really just leaving that whole void. To where she's like, I don't know this name.
Like, I don't know.
I'm only associated with this name. Yeah. So, you know, it's just presence would you know, just fix it. But
and she's seen him New Year's, you know, and what makes it even crazier is that he has 3 other kids that's younger. So he had 3 more boys after. And he's with them all the time.
Oh wow!
But doesn't call it's been I haven't heard anything. You know, he actually reached out to him on her birthday. Yeah, and sent him a text. Was like, "On her birthday." I'm like, "Oh."
Couldn't you call yourself?
No.
Well,
it's a game to try to make me seem like the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those types of. But we all, as long as we on the same page, you know,
we know what's going
Nick
on.
wanted to text something back, and I was like, look, don't even. I said, just text back and say, okay, just let it. You know, let it ride. He's just. Why would you even feel more comfortable texting him than even texting me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or even Layla, like you just saw her. You could have got her phone number when you saw her. I mean, they walk around their phones, and you know they have phones. But it's just a tactic, you know, to try to make yourself be a victim, you know. And I'm like, we're past that.
We're not.
What, 11 years in the game now? You know, if you ain't tried 11 years already, it's just.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
You know, I mean, and it's never too late. I will say that to everybody. You know, it's never too late to try. Right. But if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it the right way.
Yeah. And that happened to me. Funny thing is, it's always been my mom and I. Like that's all I know is just my mom. Like forever. And I met my biological dad when I was 11 years old.
Wow.
Like actually met him for the first time. So. I think, like you were saying, it's like the presence, like you have to want to try to do it. Like my mom never painted him out to be the bad guy or anything like that. I just always known for just to be me and my mom. Like that's just how it was. Right. So she's been a single parent for all these years. So it's hard. I guess it's difficult because like whenever you see the parent had, as far as from a child, like they already have moved on and they have like married or had other kids, and you know you were like, well dang, like what about me? Like you know I've been here this whole time. Like that's how you feel. Like what about me? But you know when you become an adult, you kind of understand. You know things happen. Like people disagree, and you know you just gotta have to take the good with the bad. So I have like no ill will towards him. I think when I was smaller I did, because I always be like, you know, where's my daddy? Or I would think that, but it's like my mom filled that void up so much I didn't really have a need for him. And, you know, at that point, shout out to my mom, because she was like, you know, just right, like she really was like a great single parent. Like she did what she had to do to support and provide for me. But he was, you know, he came around, like I actually like met him and his wife and everything, so it was good. But and I would go on trips with them and stuff, but it's kind of you still feel like a little bit of like like I was like I don't feel like I'm a part of them, like you know, it's kind of, you know, y'all are always around each other, you know. I was kind of like I had a little, you know, little feeling here and there, but I mean, you know, you growing and everything, but it is tough. Like it is tough as far as being a kid.
I'm gonna piggyback off of something you said with how you were saying that your mom never spoke bad about
my dad.
So same situation, you know, our single mom. You know, I know who my dad is. He's they just decided to part ways. I think when I was like 2 years old. So born in New Jersey, and then my mom was like, yeah, we're leaving. And so I would just travel back and forth, you know, to go and see my dad summer times or whatever breaks. But the one thing I'll say is that a lot of moms, if you are, or even a single dad, is do not badmouth that other parent.
That's right. That's
because
exactly
that's
right.
one thing that my mother never did. I didn't know anything about how they separated, broke up, what he did, what she did. I never knew any of that until I was like grown, you know. And still to this day, I still be like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, I kind of wait. Like, it doesn't matter to me because I had both of my they weren't in the same household,
but you still
but I
had
both of my
parents.
and my mom. She never talked about money. She never talked about, you know, oh, he ain't.
Yeah, my mom didn't do that either. Yep, my mom did the same thing. Yeah.
Doing that though, it makes a huge difference in your children, because then you're allowing them to think on their own. You're allowing them to have their own opinion, which I think is huge, of whatever it is that's going on or whoever. And I almost feel like it becomes a life lesson down the road. You know, it's not
down the road,
just at that moment. It's like okay, you know, I'm not gonna let somebody else come in my head and tell me how to feel about you. I'm gonna form my own relationship with you and see if I like you. If I don't, then I don't. You know, but at least that's on me. But I will say that's a huge thing that a lot of parents still do, unfortunately. But that's, I mean, people gotta stop doing that.
They got to. That's the worst thing to do to a kid.
Because then you got them looking at their parent another way, and it's from what the mama. It's from their perspective. Yeah, what you think, but it's not really what happened, or that, you know,
or that moment.
That,
like in that moment, you say, oh, your dad, you know, and they're like, oh, my daddy ain't, you know.
And that sits with them. That stays in their brain.
And it's crazy, you know, and people don't understand, but it's not much difference from, you know, a married couple getting in an argument and then they going, you know, big kids, you know, you know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, the thing of it is, it comes down to, you know, it's just a general rule of just life. You know, no one is perfect. Everybody make mistakes. Everybody have issues. Everybody have different perspectives. But the thing of it is, you have to be an open-minded individual, whatever situation that you're in. And you have to just say, okay, what is, you know, if I do X or I do Y, you know, what is Z going to be? You know, you have to just throw it into it and just go about doing things just doing the best way, right? You know, and sometimes, you know, the best way that you think might not be the best way.
The best way somewhere,
but you know, sometimes it may not be a right way, it may not be a wrong way. But you know, situations will come, but you just have to pick a way. And you know, but as long as you are trying to do it for the good, and you don't have any ill will or anything like that, that's the number one thing. Is whatever you do it without ill will. If you're doing it without ill will, it may not be the best way. It might, you know what I'm saying? Or it could, or it might not be. But if you're doing it without ill will, then you know it's something that's gonna work in your favor.
Because my mom always would tell me, she was like, why I have to speak bad about your daddy for? He gave me my biggest blessing, which is you. And my like just been me and her. I'm the only kid she ever had. So she would say that, like, he gave me my biggest blessing. So why I gotta be mad at him for?
And that's powerful. And
like,
that's powerful
because
it's like, okay, she's looking at, okay, well, I have you. Everything else, it doesn't matter, or she just, you know, it's just.
It shouldn't matter, but it does.
You know,
but it does for some people. You have to set maturity, and being mature about the situation as well. So you got to make sure you keep keep the keys in the front.
It's all about your mentality. You can look at a glass half full, half empty.
Exactly.
What you choose to do.
That's
it.
Good. I think we hit that blended topic question pretty good.
We did. Y'all.
Well, look,
y'all did good.
I said, I got a feeling it's gonna be about blended.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were prepared.
Y'all are the only, like, as far as like,
Well,
like right
yeah,
now,
we're prepared because it's work every day, and it's something, you know, like
you gotta do it every single day.
Actually, I'm going, like, I'm in a situation, and that's something I wake up with on my mind. I go to bed with it on my mind. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, but like I said, you just have to wake up.
But you a good person, Nick. You a good guy.
Right, that's why I always try to reinforce to him. I'm like, look,
Nick is
you
a
are
good guy.
You are,
He's
you
a
know,
good guy.
like, if you just keep being you. Like,
If Lamont cool with him, he good.
Right.
y'all know Lamont be real funny with his picks and friends now. So if Lamont roll with you, you good.
And that's the thing, you know, because, you know, it was so crazy, before I moved here, you know, like the only people I really fooled with was, you know, my brothers. You know, and we were so close. I mean, when we went out, it was us.
Just
you know,
y'all, yeah.
90% of the time. And my ex-brother-in-law, yeah, we still, you know.
That's what they call you.
We call ex-brother-in-law.
I love
so
it.
somebody like, who is that? Oh, that's my ex-brother-in-law.
It's hilarious.
But you know, that's the way it was. You know, and then like, boy, when I moved down here,
oh no.
you know, and so I can truly say, like, I haven't met but so many people. You know, I mean, I can count them all on one hand.
So let me ask y'all this: so with y'all being married, because I don't think me and Lamont ever really talked about this before. When you see, I guess, like friends, like what traits as far as other married couples do y'all look at as far as like do y'all talk about like the other married couples, like they'll be good friends or no? You know what I'm saying? Like what traits do you look for in other married couples so you know they'll be genuine friends? If that makes sense.
Well,
I got layers.
Right?
Exactly.
I feel like he got to get along with everybody though. Like Nick just be kind of
along with everybody.
Kind of like, boom. Like,
he tolerates a lot. Like he can deal with you, right? And then he's like, oh, okay. Like eventually,
but off guard, like off, yeah.
He'll be like, okay, yeah, you know,
yeah.
And I'm more of a like, straightforward. Yeah, no, this definitely.
This ain't gonna work.
But it's like this: you can't be my friend if I see, like, if you're involved in stuff that will jeopardize my livelihood or jeopardize my family,
my marriage,
like
anything like that. Yeah, that's
we can't be friends.
Right.
I'm sorry. I mean, we can be out somewhere. Like if I see you somewhere, we might, you know,
say what's up.
But you know what's so funny though?
Might have a drink with you or whatever. But after that, it's
that's
good.
it.
You know,
it has to be a common ground.
It has to be.
But ain't
You
no
know
common
what's so funny?
ground.
Some people
What's the
like
point?
just me knowing it. I tell you, one of the we had like a little get together at our house, and one of the ladies said to me, she was like, I didn't know that Nick's like talked a lot. Like I didn't know he talked. And I said, Nick, like
you don't know
but
Nick.
you don't know him. But see, that's the thing. I was like, well, you wouldn't know. But if you just were to see you, like just kind of out and about, you would say like, oh, he doesn't talk a lot. That's what people say about Lamont too.
Now Nick is shy,
but Nick is he like hilarious.
He's comfortable. He crack a few jokes, get you laughing, and like okay. But like as far as married couples with friends, it's like it's always me that's the talker. Like when we'll get in the car, I'll be like, okay. To summarize, we'll be like, do we like them?
Are they cool? Are they not cool?
Well, you know. So I say for me, what I look for is, are you genuine? Are you like, how was your marriage? You know, like
how was your marriage looking?
Great.
Yeah,
you know, it'll never be great, but are you guys trying? You know, like, do you guys have that united front? You know, and it doesn't matter what you're going through. It ain't my business, but as long as y'all two are standing toe to toe and together and treating each other good and right, and as long as I get a good laugh, you know, we all together. Like that's one thing I told Nick. I'll tell you. I'll talk about you all the time. I'll be like, Shay just be so good to me. I say every time I'm with Shay, I was like, we don't think about we don't talk about no kind of drama.
Yeah,
it's just good, clean, it's like let your hair down and just a feel good. Like I don't have any type of like, oh, you about to tell me about something.
Lord.
If you coming with that stuff, like I can't because like we all dealing with our own stuff at
Right.
home. So it's like, why keep bringing that other stuff to the, like, don't bring that, But I always tell Nick, I'm like, Shay just so good to me. I was like, because we just always have fun. We just be laughing and. So we don't talk about life or nothing. We just
be having fun,
That's
right?
Right.
We really just be having fun. Like, that's the good part.
Between work and marriage life and kids and everything else, like you need that friend or that couple that you can just have just good, clean, genuine
fun with.
And you got good friends with just like good morals.
That's
all the status and all that stuff, but it's the morals. Like what's your goal?
Right.
Like, what's my goal? Okay, like your number one goal is to protect your family and your kids. My number one goal is to protect my wife and kids and family. So okay, that's
scratch that off.
Is your goals is to go party every weekend,
weekend,
like 2 or 3 times a week?
Right.
You want to do all this kind of
You
stuff?
call me like, hey, look, man, let's go hit this bar.
Right.
Or
Going out here.
like if you but I mean, you at home with your wife. It's and like the crazy thing about it, like you and Shay will probably talk more. Me and the month we might text once a week.
Yeah.
Or and I'm probably speaking for you, but that's okay with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how.
That fits for us.
I'm at home with my family, but when it come time to do something,
we know they talking, so hey, we good.
Yeah, we good.
So their communication is based on
We good. Yeah,
I'm like, okay, Shay and Bree talking. We probably don't get up this weekend. They talking.
And we have the most fun with y'all.
The kids.
Right, the kids are talking.
Now trickle down to the kids. I was like, okay, the kids talking.
They're like, and it's so crazy though. Like they just they get along so well, and it's funny. They act like siblings because Layla and Ava, they were fuss at each other, but then they be like, oh, are we gonna go over to Miller's house, or if they're gonna come over here so we can so it's so funny. Like they argue when they get together, but then they ready to get up and see each other. And sometimes I see Abel and Layla. They'll be like on Google Duo. They be like either cooking or doing something, but they be talking. But it's just so it's so fun. Like I love to see
It's good, because it's like
they get along so well.
These kids be so hot, so you like, God, it's somebody that
sure do.
They playing Fortnite.
Roblox and all that stuff together.
Cook the best. I'm like,
after this they're gonna actually be cooking and they having a cook off.
Hello Christmas. I was supposed to cancel.
They keep coming.
Every time I see a box,
A new package.
And
Did you cancel that?
I'm like, oh baby, I'm gonna do it. Something wrong with the app. And then let me cancel.
But that's the thing, though, man. That's what makes it so cool. Like, when you truly meet a couple that you can, be friends with, that you can, you let them in that space.
Right. Like a no judgment zone and all. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. It's that means like a lot.
It does.
Yeah, that means a lot. And just to have that, and like I said, I don't like a whole lot of foolishness. Like ain't good.
Ain't good. Mind you, he said this all the time. Oh Lord, that's so good.
And the thing about it, I take y'all, to be the same way.
Right.
Because I'll tell you.
Oh, you already know we ain't about that.
Ain't about that foolishness.
Oh, we ain't about that foolishness. You already know what's up.
So that's the thing, man. We can just come together, we can drink. We'll have our own little foolishness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but it's always
okay.
good and it's a good time.
It's healthy.
But that other foolishness, the way I man, I got time for that. We got kids. We got jobs. We got, we don't need that. So
like my mom always said, she was like, I could go to jail. Y'all got good jobs. Y'all
right.
You don't go there. Y'all just call.
She take care of the dirty work.
Yeah. She was like,
we call Diva. She'll help us out.
I was like, y'all got good jobs. Y'all can't go to jail. Y'all just call me. Leave that mess outside.
That's it.
Man, we gotta raise these kids. We gotta show them the right way. So
that's right.
It starts with us.
We already talking about like the college stuff with the kids, and they were talking about all of that. So just kind of planning the future and just
pop up on them at college.
Right.
I got a question. How did we get here?
Oh,
That's the thing when you know it's kind of like genuine because
Abel
it's just,
knows the entire story.
Yeah, Abel and Layla were talking about it.
What you mean?
Okay, so let me tell you
Like,
how we became friends.
friends.
So you know,
Yeah.
matter of fact, so we went to go to Goody Barn. It's a store in Covington that got all the sales.
And that's all we gonna say.
Yeah, the Goody Barn. So we had the kids with us. And I remember Layla, okay, so we left there, we went and got something to eat. And Layla said, we were talking about this girl, she had some lipstick on. You remember that? At
her
her lips was bomb. It was so pretty. And
I told her all about it.
yeah, we were like, I was like, yeah, girl, your lip. I like, let's choose like shade lips. So I'm looking, I was like, oh, sure, her lipstick is pop. It was so pretty. It was like a purple color.
It was beautiful.
It was so pretty. So like, Layla said, she was like, oh my gosh, she said, Miss Shay, she was like, I'm so happy that my mom met you. And I said, and I was like, Layla. She said, because she said, y'all are like the same person. She's like, who else would say that to somebody, you know, like in a drive-thru? And I was like, yeah. So they said, how did you, and so then I think Abel said,
Abel spoke until the whole story.
yeah, Abel said the whole thing. He was like, he said, well, y'all remember when they met at flag football? And I'm like, really? So they knew like the same, it was one day.
It was some particular day.
We had stayed and taught after practice or something.
Like they
remember the whole thing.
Yeah,
and they said
really?
Layla and him were like, they were all playing.
Yeah.
And we were still sitting there talking after practice.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out how they even knew that.
Right.
They were like,
They were playing.
But
And they did say
we were like, oh wow,
Like, y'all remember that?
kept up with that. Like that's our relationship.
got nothing to do with y'all. And they did. And then I think
I'm
like,
like, where me and Nick at in the conversation?
yeah, I don't know where y'all were.
Y'all didn't make it in there.
We didn't make
They
it.
didn't say nothing about y'all.
Look,
talking about
maybe it was the tin cup.
Might have been the tin cup.
might have been.
Yes, tin cup did it.
At the Christmas party.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had a
and y'all
Christmas
invited
party.
us.
But that was so we had already met them prior.
Well, we
was
hanging
hanging out, but
I think it was the first time we actually hung out.
Right.
That probably really brought us together. And I
Yeah.
think it was one of those football games. I remember, I think we won, and everybody kind of came over. Y'all invited everybody to your house.
That's
Pat was
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah, so we was all just kicking it.
But
from
because we
there.
were gonna come over, like y'all, they're like host a lot of stuff at their house. So we like they have like a party. Like it was like y'all had a 4th of July, and then y'all had like
Doing
some
too
stuff
much.
happen. Yeah, and so I think, and it was just I don't know, it's just weird. Like
And Nick could call me, hey, Lamont, I'm about to fry some fish. You want some
yeah, he
fish?
be frying it.
Fish
Fish.
fry hand.
Yes, he can fry some fish.
He'll fry some fish.
Yeah.
He'll jump on a grill in a heartbeat.
Like
it ain't
with no
nothing.
problem. Yeah, I'm
Uh-huh.
like, wow. So I think that was just it just kind of
And it
it
just
just
kinda skimmed
happened.
off
And
from
the
there.
kids, they all meshed too. That was the other
And
thing.
the kids
Like,
get together.
okay, you know.
Trice and Roma kind of they be
Yeah,
love.
man,
It's like,
work in progress.
yeah. 'Cause I don't know what's happening right
I
now.
don't have a drink on that.
Right.
It's been real. We're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
It's been real.
I just knew Roman was going to come running down here at least
I was
once.
waiting on him to come, so he must be having fun.
Right.
Yes,
You know, I
yes.
gave a speech. I said, Roman, you be nice to Trice. That's your friend.
Just like Roma's gonna hit me. He hit me. He pulled my hair. And I'm like, oh my god. I said it's okay. It's
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
But I think that it just kind of happened, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It
So
just
what's the
happened.
clip? It was. They
Yeah.
stuck with us forever. I already told Shane.
Yeah, we
That was
stuck.
good.
Yeah, they stuck with us
stuck.
forever. They can't get rid of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
I
I believe so. Cause Lamont, and then too, Lamont is kind of like who we hang with. He has a lot to do with it too, because he's not gonna hang with anybody. Like he just not gonna like. He'll quit, and I think I told y'all this before. He will quit, tell me like, "Oh, them your folk, them your people." I'm like, but we still got the same. No, them your folks. So I have to kind of pick and choose if something's happening, something's going on. Like if I was like, Lamont, you gonna come, or some of the kids like he's not gonna go to every birthday party. He's just not gonna
don't
do
be mad
it.
if
So
he don't
if he
show
don't
up.
come,
But it ain't got
it's
nothing to do with the
It don't have
person
nothing to do with the
if I'm
person. It's just that he don't like to do the kids' birthday
Yeah,
party.
it's
He
just-
cannot stand the kids' birthday party.
Oh,
But you will
how do you
go
manage that? That's a sad.
Nick trying to pull this.
How do I manage the birthday party?
the birthday
Yeah,
parties. Do you go to the birthday parties? Lamont do not want to go to no birthday party.
Well, he's probably not going to go to them anymore now that he knows Lamont.
See, my wife, this is expectation. You gonna come home, help me get these kids together, and then we
go to the birthday party.
That's her expectation. So I need to learn how you get it.
Lamont just be like, I don't want to go. He be like, I don't want to go.
Ain't too much to it.
Please, I'm like, please come to the birthday party.
He's like, oh, I can give everybody.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go. Like, Lamont, just come on. He don't want. If he's not gonna go, it's probably a handful of kids who'll probably go to the birthday party. But most of the time, he's not gonna go.
I know Nick not going to parties. That's what he gonna say.
Just say I ain't going. That's it.
It's summertime there. I mean, grass gotta be cut.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times that's what I do.
That's what, but he does be doing stuff
something
like
around the house or whatever.
Because I mean, when you work all week, you know, you don't get to just come home and concentrate on things.
Like the birthday parties.
Exactly.
Like birthday parties.
So when Saturday comes, you know, okay, Saturday I gotta do this, do that. So you just want to be able to do what you have to do.
Exactly.
You know.
Now when there's a birthday party.
So birthday party. Bree, I be like, so like, you know, with all the rain and stuff, so I kind of got behind on some stuff at work. So I called Bree. I was like, Bree, you know, I'm gonna have to work on Saturday. She started getting a little.
I get real quiet.
Little.
Here we go.
Her favorite word, annoyed. Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel it coming on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I gotta work. So I gotta just look. I gotta work, you know. Mm-hmm. But then I be trying like, okay, what is it? Can I help you with before I go to work? You know, I kind of work my schedule around your schedule to help you out as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think she just kind of got the hint yesterday that I wasn't going to make it home in time
for the birthday party.
So,
I think I might have scared him too.
So I was knee deep in work. She called me yesterday and it was like 3:30.
Yeah.
She's like, before I can even say hello, she's like, I'm not trying to aggravate your worry, but I'm just
I'm just calling to make sure you're okay. I already know he's probably picking up their phone like, God, dog, she about to go off.
She about to get me.
Yeah. So before he could even, I said, look, I'm not calling to go off. I'm just trying to make sure you're okay. Or whatever. I'm like, already expectation, right? Because I'm like, he's at work. Party starts at 3. If he's off in a decent time or he get here, party was 3 to 7 months. So it was long.
That's a long party.
Long birthday party.
Right. So I'm like, okay, whatever. If he makes it to this side of town, great. But then I was like, well, the grass need cutting. So I was like, well, we about to leave. But then when I got to the party, it was like, oh, we want Nick to come. So I was like, oh, well, change plans, Nick. You know, when you off work, just come here. So it's not, I understand it. You know,
it was so crazy. So when she sent me that text, talking about, well, you can just go home and cut the grass.
He didn't text me back.
So Alex, she knows it. Oh, y'all remember Alex? He was the only white guy at the.
Yeah.
So Alex, he was helping me yesterday. So Alex said, so I told Alex, well, the wife just told me to go home and cut the grass. Alex looked at me, dude, you just worked all day. Your wife told you to come home and cut the grass.
No, we got something to do.
What, Alex, you right. I said, I'm not going home to cut that grass.
Hey, put your foot down real quick.
Like, he didn't like that grass, so that's why I was like, okay, yeah.
So look, I get to, I think I get to almost to 285 coming east, you know, and then I get a text. And the text said,
I was like, they want you to come to the party.
No, you said his dad. He was like, his dad really wants you to come by. Because at first Bree was like, and that's what I didn't understand. Because you know, like she was like, because I said, Bree, all right, well, I'm heading home. She's like, I mean, what you gonna do? Just show up on your whole work truck?
Yeah, because I didn't know if
drive
he
my
had
work
like a
truck everywhere I go anyway. You know?
You do?
So I would.
Well, I didn't know if he'd be like dirty.
So I was thinking, you know, so I was like, you know, I give my wife the benefit of the doubt. So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, she must think I got my trailer with me.
See, that's what I.
So then I called her. I was like, so I just come right. So I guess so. So I showed up and I had on my work clothes, but I didn't get that.
He was clean, so I was like, whatever. And they wanted him to be there, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, which their dad, he's a pretty cool guy.
And that's probably what it is too, because y'all probably have like a relationship with the, with the parents. And
Yeah.
all that, so it's a little bit different.
And
then he was just looking for somebody to take a drink with too.
Yeah. I think they just got their house. I think they just bought their house. Maybe it's many. I think
just
it just
a
hit
year or
a year.
something
And
like
they
that.
had been wanting this to come. So I think that played a part. So I was like, just come straight here. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, and they cool. They good people. They
got him lit.
That's what it is. I love it.
So, baby, did you have any more topics you want to talk to them about? I know we could probably talk about a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, we could go for
could.
hours and hours.
I don't know anything you have. I can't think right now.
I can't think right now.
I gotta look at my notes. You probably got some other stuff too.
Look how many we like this.
Lamont Lamont got a bunch of questions. Go ahead.
You got questions, Bill. I got answers.
Well, I know one thing I kind of want to talk about. Just kind of like Bree was saying how like she just kind of loves Shay. Shay don't bring like any drama or whatnot to her, like anytime they're chilling or just talking, whatever. But in terms of being a married couple and having somebody to vent to, like who is an appropriate person that you can vent to when you have issues with Nick? Like, should you talk to your mom about it? Should you talk to your friends? Like, who's the best person to talk to? Because again, I feel like you necessarily shouldn't include your parents because your parents, just like we're talking about, just like we're talking about with the kids. You know, you put that negative thoughts into your kids' head. You can put the negative thoughts into your parents.
Absolutely.
Right. You are still their baby.
Because your mom could be like, boy, you better come on home. So you be like,
but me and my mom are close. And one thing my mama always told me, she was like, you married to Lamont. Like, I ain't married to Lamont. That's y'all, that's y'all, your stuff. So I wouldn't I couldn't, like, she could tell if I'm like in a mood or having a bad day, but I wouldn't I can never go into detail with her.
I say the same thing, I think just growing up with your mom's always
it's like
different. I would, small stuff, right? He didn't put the air in the top. Like some small stuff. But when it comes to like relationship, like if we're having a situation, we have a counselor.
Okay.
Right? Because we found that you need somebody that's not gonna take his side or your side. And when I say she is like, I call her the fairy godmother of our marriage because she will go off on him, she'll go off on me. Like we have that level of trust and respect for her. Like it's times where he'll call and talk to her, or sometimes I'll be sitting there and text her a whole long. We going back to like his. Oh God. But she doesn't. I mean, she's amazing, But when it comes to talking to other people, and if we're having a serious situation, don't do it because you don't know what that person might be dealing with.
What their intentions are and why that.
You don't know you don't know any of that. So it's like, talk to somebody that has an open mind, that is not biased, that's not going to be like, well, girl, you should probably leave, or because first of all, you don't know what they got going on. You know what I'm saying?
And then the other thing too, I gotta put this quick note in there: choose your counselors wisely too. Because it's just like an occupation. I'm a counselor, but I'm just here to get.
I'm still messy. I do whatever.
Just like that clock is ticking right there. The counselor looking at that clock, like they more worried about that hourly rate than they really worried about your relationship.
Your problem.
And then she comes to our house. Like we've never, like she doesn't have an office. She comes to our house. I mean, we've called her. I've expected. Sometimes I sit with me. I be like, well, I know we about to get a good check.
She about to get right.
I'm like, these hours. But I mean, nothing. Like it's just regular.
Like she genuinely.
She's been at the house from 6 p.m. to remember she stayed from 6 to 12 in the morning. Like I mean, we just sitting there just hogging like. But she's never been the type to be like, my time's up. I gotta go. But I mean. Anytime we've reached out to her person, like it's times I don't even know that he's reached out to her, or so she keeps it to where we don't know unless we both come together and say, okay, let's have a session, or so that's been the best thing for us.
That's good.
Keep
That's really
everybody
good.
out. It's actually made us stronger as a couple because we kind of know, like, if he's doing something good or whatever, you know, I'm like, okay, I know she'll probably told me, you know. So I know it's coming from
He
a
didn't
good
do it on his own.
Come on, man. Give me the benefit of the doubt.
Had a little boost there.
I know it's coming from a good place, you know.
Yep.
Right.
Like,
That's
you know,
right.
it's coming from a really good place. So
You
like,
text Rochelle about them Krispy Kreme donuts.
I don't know.
You did that on your
Well,
own.
I don't
Oh,
know.
Krispy Kreme donut.
You know,
I said, check my boy out.
now I will say this.
Check my boy
Rochelle,
out.
I gotta give her a shout out. Now, I will say this. You know, just by talking with her and stuff like that. You know, there's so many things as a husband sometimes that you just take for granted. You know, and so one thing Rochelle has taught me is how to listen to my wife.
Because he said it in the
And
truck.
that's a lot of things that a lot of us men we have to do. We have to learn to listen. We have to learn to hear our wife because a lot of times we just hear. You know, because my wife be like, you don't know what I know. I always talk about Krispy Kreme. You know, you pass my Krispy Kreme every day.
He made sure nobody heard it.
So the thing
But
of it
it's so
is,
funny though.
you have to learn how to listen. And,
Right.
But now you have to.
But what you do, Nick, about the Krispy Kreme donuts? What did you do with the Krispy Kreme donuts? You said your wife loved the Krispy Kreme donuts, and has looked like she always talk about them, and you pass Krispy Kreme every day.
Every day. So I had to learn to listen. So, but here's the thing though, and here's
So
what
what'd you do, though?
but here's what we men have to understand. Now that whole conversation that conversation that we had
On the way from New
Yeah,
Orleans.
on the way from New Orleans.
We had a conversation.
I could have took that the way it was coming from her. I could have took it two ways. And this is something that I learned in counseling. You know, just by talking, I could have took it two ways. I could have taken it in a negative, like, man, she's a nagging about some donuts. Just sit there like, kill me, man. Go
get your own donuts.
Go get your own donuts. I could have took it that way.
Yeah.
Or I could have taken it the way, you know what? I do fast.
Krispy Kreme.
Panola Road every day, mostly every day. To where, man, what is gonna hurt? You know, I could stop there and maybe the light be on and the donuts be hot and just pick the donuts up. You know what I'm saying? So it's two ways that you can hear your woman. But one thing I've learned is that being
that was good, Nick.
Being a man, you gotta get comfortable with yourself, and you got to let me let that go. Right. Okay, let me address that. So it's a constant thing of where I gotta address. How do I reach her? Or how do I? Let me think about how I'm gonna bring this to her attention. Right. You know, so you have to put a lot of thought into it.
Because
you are two different people.
Got that where from dealing with
and you have
Rochelle, because we both had that outlook of,
and you gotta learn your spouse. And the biggest thing of it is, what it boils down to the most is that we come from two different backgrounds. You know, the way I communicate, the way she communicate, you know, things like all that stuff just makes a difference. So you just gotta say, okay, how are we gonna make this men? So that's the challenge of making marriages work. It's just understanding her background, she understanding mine. You know, me not looking at her like, okay, you right, judgmental, but the thing of it is like, okay, how do I make this work? Or if it's something that I need, look, you know, take that edge off on that just a little bit. You know, just communicate.
And I come with the edge.
You know, and it's a daily work in progress.
It is.
You know, sometimes we get misled by, it'd be like older couples. They've been married for 50 years. Like I heard this dude. I heard this old guy say one time. He said, "Me and my wife been married for like 50 years, and she ain't never said a mumbling word about anything."
She a mute.
Yeah, you've been married 55 years, but she never said a mumbling word about anything. Okay,
she might be scared of you.
Exactly. Or it's a thing of it.
Right, that's why I said she a mute.
Or she might not have said a mumbling word because she might
be saying it to somebody else.
Right. You know, or it could have been or or you just basically not physically, but you could just have mentally be her in submission.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes like people, we do get up and they say, "Oh, they've been married 50 years. Oh my God!" But you don't really know.
Like what did that look like?
But as I know, for like me and my relationship, I know what it's really taken for us to, 5 years.
Keep the
So
keep the train going.
It's work.
I'm not counting years, but it's work daily.
But y'all are doing what you're supposed to. I'm glad to hear y'all doing like the counseling, have the therapist.
Yeah.
And you know what, to speak on the counsel thing, is so many of us that don't want to or feel like, oh, I ain't understand, I ain't talking.
Well, we look down on counseling.
We do. And you know what, one of my good friends, Lexus, is a therapist, and she will be the first to tell you that it's needed. And a lot of us don't. And she even has her own therapist as well for like her marriage as well. So that's the thing, like you have to have that help. And I think that's something too that I think we done a couple of sessions before, but I think that's something too that we should like just kind of keep that communication.
Well, it's like
and that's the thing, we have to be consistent, because I think where me and Lamont kind of fall short is we don't have the consistency with the counseling part.
That too, and then it was like the bomb was like tick 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 tick.
So here's the thing, right?
Time to go.
A therapist is just like gas in a car.
Yeah.
Okay, like if you got this car, okay, you might be on a half a tank. But if you plan on driving a car every day, it still needs gas.
Right.
But you might look at it, they don't need any gas, got a half a tank. Okay, but you plan on driving 300-400 miles in the next 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. So you're gonna need that gas. You might not need it right now, but you're gonna need it. So it's like a therapist. My marriage is on 3/4 of a tank. We good. No, you need that therapist.
You need that extra, yeah.
So you need it, even if you think you don't need it, because
that was a good.
That was a good the gas in the tank. What that
good? Now I'm probably gonna.
But you could, what I'm saying? You could be going.
That was good. Go free.
You could be going and everything could be fine. You think, well, okay, everything fine, but it could be some hole or void that's missing your marriage,
and you don't even know
that counselor
it.
maybe can come in and just say, like, wow,
that full.
Get you see that.
It's just
full tank.
Right. That constant refresher.
And that's one thing, that I've learned, and but I do know, because it's us, we just think, about tell me how to run my marriage,
right?
Because if you're not careful, you be patterning your marriage after your dad's marriage or your mother's marriage, or however or whatever. Even kind of like.
See, I don't know, because I've been in a single parent household,
right? Exactly.
So I don't know how to kind of, that's the thing. Like I didn't have like a role or an example of an actual, like, because I didn't grow up in that household.
We navigating the waters. We like,
and she's the same way.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out on your own.
You had your parents there, as well. So it's, you had your parents,
so both of them have
parents in the house, married.
And the crazy thing is, people don't realize like how much weight that carries.
Yeah.
So it's like my dad, right? They've been married for I know I'm 41 and they've been married ever since I've been here. So I know they've good 41 years.
So older than him.
Yeah. So the thing of it is, so like my dad faces, right? So like this, if I was at home right now, okay, my dad might not be at home. I asked my mom, "Hey mom, where dad at?" I don't know. He just went out and he said he'd be back later or something like,
Not
Could
today.
you imagine
Not
like
today.
like
You know what?
Can you imagine that? Can you go out?
I can't go to the mailbox. Where you going?
Nick,
I can't go
let
nowhere.
me tell you what he did though. So last year, you remember my birthday and you had left? He ain't never ever, like, one thing about him, if he going somewhere, he gonna tell me. So he leave the house. So he just gonna leave the house. Text him. I called him. I said, "Where you at?" I make a run. He said, "I'll be back. I'll be right back." I said, "Okay." This dude was gone for hours. When I tell you I was on fire flames, I was on fire. First of all, you done left the house. Ain't tell me where you were going. You been gone for hours. Like you just leave the house.
But she got a whole attitude.
But look, I had a whole attitude for like 2 days.
But tell him where I was at.
But he was actually going to get my truck for my birthday. But
but I had
a whole truck.
He got me a whole
nice new truck.
Yes, A whole birthday, a whole dream car
A whole
for my birthday.
Mercedes truck.
Yeah, I ain't want the
A whole Mercedes.
Okay, and
He was going to surprise me with it.
Yes.
He hooked me up.
What a whole
But I had a whole attitude.
I almost turned around. I'm like, man, I'm go home right now. Leave the truck right here.
Look, he's talking about.
You be on the verge, like
She don't deserve this.
I said, you done left? Look. He's talking about, so you were all mad and you been mad at me all week. I was like, I'm not mad no more. Thank you. I'm like, thank you, baby. I was a whole mess. But that's just, like you were saying, that's the expectation you set up for your husband.
Right.
Some people,
and it's,
their spouse will go out and do that.
and it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to to pattern as a man to pattern yourself
Behind what
after,
you see,
and
yes,
then
after you
come.
see.
It's just like when you got women that get touched up by their husbands.
Mm-hmm.
A man just beat his wife
touched
because
up?
she cooked chicken, he wanted steak, and he beat him. It's like
Touched up.
so, but it's. But but if you look at it, more likely, his dad was abusive to his. So it's so just like he picked that up, you can pick up stuff like that too.
And you don't even realize.
And then you be looking at your wife like, what's wrong with you? I went out. You know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is just, it's like you have to adjust. To the. I don't know. Somebody tell me, is it being disrespectful? Because you leave it. Which I do know. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying,
I have to tell him, I'm like, I love it.
Well, I'll be at work, and I have to not even have to. Don't make it seem like I be like. But now what I will do, man, like I'm at work, because sometimes I'll be like.
And sometimes I get irritated.
I'll be in
Atlanta,
working,
but he'll still call to check, and he'll be like, "Hey, babe, you guys okay?" And I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah, but y'all both.
He's like, "I'm here, this is why." So he's really, really good, and it's not I'm like, wait,
Well, I try to let him know.
He just try to let you know, yeah.
Because sometimes, I can
So I
be
do appreciate that.
I can be in Atlanta, and then
don't work. You be everywhere.
Gainesville or somewhere. So I just try to give an idea about where I'm at, because forbid if something happened, at least you got some kind of general idea about.
Oh yeah, because that one time I did. Remember, I ended up having at your old job. I called you. I could not find him. I was scared. Oh my gosh! I went from where he at to. Oh my gosh, I cannot find my husband. I'm like trying to find him.
So we had somebody mess something up on the job one night. So it was me and two other guys, man. We were there.
I think
we stayed there till like 3 o'clock that morning.
Yes.
And we was working trying to get this equipment back on.
I was terrified. Like when I finally got him on, I was like.
She called.
Where were you?
I was crying. It was relief because I was like, oh my God,
Could you imagine just kind of those hours, like where?
I get a call from my area manager, and boy,
because I found her number.
She was like,
I was like,
she was like, your wife.
My wife?
I'm like, Doris.
Put on your FBI hat.
Yes. Don't play.
I had to find him, and then I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope he didn't drive off.
Lesson learned. So like, man, what is she like? I don't want to hear it. So if I think I'm gonna be at work late, because from time to time I'll pull a
work
late night. Maybe 12, sometimes 1 o'clock. But I'll call her and be like, hey, look, hey, I'm gonna have a late night tonight. That's something I gotta get done. But and I try to give her a general time. If it's look, it's gonna be like 1 o'clock or it's gonna be 10 o'clock.
Communication.
It's communication, man. That's the thing.
Bring me all I'm like, okay, I'm not just communication, and that's just that fixes
a whole lot of it. Yeah.
I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm not where you at? I don't blow him. I'm not, because at the end of the day, I ain't doing no going through no phone type. I'm not doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
like, if you have to do all of that
anyway. Okay?
Right, Lord, what's the point? Like, if you have to do all of that, like
it's
just a trust
and look, I'm not the one that's sitting there and doing all that stuff. Just let me know you're okay. Mm-hmm. Period. You know,
and it's easy, like it's so much easier for me to just make a phone call, and that's the way you gotta look at it. So you gotta say, okay. Just what's the next best thing? What's the best way? So
I can handle
it's a whole lot. So here's the thing, and this is the thing. Like I've learned, so much just like with counseling and stuff, and just maturing and just getting older. It's a whole lot easier for me to just make that phone call. Say, look, babe, I don't be working late at night. Here's the problem. Mm-hmm. She may get upset. She might get mad. Well, you're not getting no help right now. Whatever the case may be, right? Mm-hmm. But that's okay.
Mm-hmm. But she know you out there providing for your family.
Because if I don't do that,
you out there, yep.
Right. But if I don't do that, and then I call her at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Well, babe, I had to work late or whatever, or and
that's things.
And then if she get upset, then I don't have a right to get upset with her.
Right.
Because I didn't set the whole thing up.
That's right.
Right from the start.
That's good.
Even though I'm at work and that's one thing we as men, we don't realize. So for instance, if I call her at 10 o'clock, I'm like, babe, I'm at work and I'm gonna be here late. Mm-hmm. First, like her man, it was already late. And then how much longer you gonna be? Right. Then I'm like, why you asking me all these questions at work? Right. I'm trying to, I got things I got, So now, if I get aggravated and I'm just coming off like that or whatever, so at that point, I'm not being foul to her because I didn't set that up right from the start. Because communication was lacking on my part. Mm-hmm. But, we as men sometimes, man, we can get kind of just constantly fall in that trap. And then we just be like, man, what's wrong with her? And then I be calling mother like, man, my wife, man, just be nagging, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you don't really, and you don't really understand, well, it's the way that I handle
how you handle that situation. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's good that you understand your role, and how if you have better control over yourself, it can actually have a better outcome for your family and marriage.
Exactly. That's good.
Yeah. So that's good.
It's all about how, because you say that a lot of times, about how you react to something, like how you respond to it. Right. So when something happens, it's like, so are you gonna respond like, about it? Are you gonna take a moment? It's like, okay, this is what happened, and so it's about your response. As far as that,
right. One thing is so true, and is that we as men. Now, I love my woman, and the whole. I'm not, so I know it's International Women's Weekend.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the women. Salute. But one thing for sure, we as men, we have to be the head of our household, and it's not so much that I got to be the one making the most money. I got to be the one paying all the bills. It's not so much. We get caught up in that stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, but when it says being the head of your household, that means it's your responsibility to keep your cool when everything else hits the fan. Mm-hmm. That's one of the hardest responsibilities that ever been put on any man, because we all know, it's hard. Right. But it has to be a practice. Mm-hmm. It has to be a practice, and that's something that I try to do, is practice that. Now, do I get it right every time? No, I don't.
Yeah.
But I do try to just practice to just so when things hit the fan, somebody have to stay calm. Mm-hmm. Somebody has to say, okay, hold on, babe, look, let's think this thing through. Mm-hmm. What's the best way to go about this? Mm-hmm. Or what,
and because we learned that from Rochelle.
If she reacts and then I react and nobody is responding, then we're not getting anything accomplished.
Exactly.
So, that's one of the main things of just, I think that's just one of the responsibilities that God put on us as men. Right. Mm-hmm.
Providers.
And like I say, it's not taking a role from the woman or anything like that, or what a woman can't do. Mm-hmm. But I just think biblically, and God just put that responsibility on us.
I speak for me, and I'm sure a lot of women will probably agree. We want our men to lead, right? Like there's a lot of I'm alpha female all day long. Like I'm not but the best thing I feel like, whatever you are, you want your man to lead. Period.
Right.
You want to have that king. You know. So a woman, even if a girl, you know, she's like, I got everything I know. Stop lying to yourself. It's a lie. A woman it's what we want.
Yeah.
Period. It doesn't matter how strong you are physically, mentally. You got a great job. We want to be able to sit back and just say, look, you make the decision. What we eat tonight, you tell us what we eat tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we want. Because you got to think about, as a mom and a wife, all of those type of things, like, you know, in regards to, you know, the kids, or
all those other
like, we have all this other stuff, you know, that we, you know, dealing with. So it's like, help us, like, you take it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you tell us where we going this weekend. You tell us
what we gonna do.
Doing,
Yeah.
You know? And so women, we want that. Like, we want our men, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree as far as like being a.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's being in, like, I guess, like, in charge or whatever. Like, I think if you want to act like not to say, oh, just take my opinion away, but to take control of the situation, like, to kind of like be in control of the
that's
situation.
What you have to be mature as a man, and you have to be confident.
Right, to know that.
Because what'll happen is, like, when a woman says, I want you to lead, then, like, if you tell your wife to cook chicken, she cooks steak. You tell you
then you get mad, but you eating though.
Right, but then you want to beat her because she cooked. Because you didn't do what I told you.
Well, touch her up. Right. But you eating. Right. But you eating the meal though.
But it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate though that you do have some
people are like that though.
They lead, but it's like, I mean, it's consequences and repercussions.
I think it's more like a controlling thing. Like it's not that they're leading; they're being controlling, and that's a big difference. And I think that's when they're trying to control everything or be controlling. But if you want him to, like, the man is the head of the household, right?
And not have to control everything. And that's where that balance comes.
That balance, that's it. Yeah. Being a leader.
Yeah, the balance, and then also be able to compromise. I think it's good for a man to lead, but as a man, you should ask for your wife's input. Ask her how she feels about certain situations, so that you know that you're on the same page.
Exactly.
And I think that's what some men lack. They lack that ability to compromise with their wife and get their input at the same time.
Yeah, that's good too.
That is a big piece.
But guys, I think this is good. We done doubled our normal time.
Well, maybe I can do 2 episodes.
You guys,
you think maybe
may come back again, so I'm gonna keep the rest of our topics fresh.
Y'all hit like,
Can y'all come back?
Yes, like, subscribe, everything.
Tell us if you want to come back.
Oh, and the shirts too. They were not playing. We went to
not at all.
Not playing. So you know, my boys have a clothing line, and it's Handsome Clothing Company. So a great mom, the name of Lisa, came up with this idea. Her son is Jacob. He plays football and basketball with my kids. Hey y'all. So she was like, "Why don't y'all do a shirt that says I call him handsome?" Because we were thinking about doing like beautiful. So I was like, "Oh, smart." So my shirt is I call him handsome. So y'all can get them off of the boys' website, handsomeclothingcompany.com. So for the mommies and the women, for your man or whatever, so it's cute.
See, I got my handsome shirt on.
But not playing. Yes, boom. And then the Miller's over here. Tell them about your business, because she's daughter's entrepreneur. Like, they're awesome. So
I started. So I've always doing like little DIY stuff around the house, and Nick was like, "Okay, look, this is enough." So I started coming called Millerized Designs. And so we make like custom shirts and everything from headbands for your basketball players, your sleeves, all that good stuff. So
mugs, I do everything. You do everything.
Yes. Mugs.
Yeah, you do everything.
Everything.
Yes.
We got it. So Nick, this is his. He says this.
All the time.
Every day. Right?
Make me fall because when he says it at like the perfect time. Right? It's hilarious.
But I'm not a negative guy. But if you do that, it is wrong.
Hey, but we was in New Orleans. We was on what? We was on Bourbon Street. We all just walking on the other side of the road. Some girl fell. She tripped and fell over down.
It was a bad fall too.
They said right on time. They said, "Ain't good."
It was so funny.
We couldn't breathe.
I could not breathe. It was like her.
Right time.
Oh my god. And that was a tough fall too.
Right.
That was a bad fall.
It was awful. So That was his request. He wanted his shirt, so I had to make him this shirt.
I love it.
And then I just made myself this shirt because it was, International Day, Women's International Day. I was like, let me make something about I am.
Got the glitter on it too. That's nice.
All of that stuff. So
that's awesome.
So we had our shirts, but we had no idea that they were gonna have. So look at us,
all in sync.
Great minds think alike.
All this black magic.
Yes.
So we appreciate everybody watching again. This is episode 12, Keeping It Not Tired podcast with our special guest. We thank you guys for coming in. Y'all had great input.
Y'all are awesome.
Awesome.
Y'all coming back, Nick? You gonna come back?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. So continue.
I already know, but like, yes. I already know your answers, yes. I already know. Yes, I love it.
So continue to comment on YouTube. We're on also Spotify, Apple Music. Continue to subscribe, rate us and all that good stuff so y'all can keep pushing us to the top. But we really appreciate the support. And I guess we'll see y'all guys next time for episode number 13.
Yes.
Ooh, lucky number 13.
Yes.
See y'all.
Peace. See ya.